Much better. All right. So sorry, I didn't hear a word you said. Where did you say you were right now?
I'm in our church building. We don't have a traditional church building. We renovated a warehouse, and so this is the green room of our pseudo church building.
Okay, very cool. So, Vince, my bosses at TLC, they haven't read anything they know nothing about you. I reached out to you, so they don't know who you are. So they don't even know what you do. So we'll just start fresh and let them know. So why don't you just first introduce yourself, if you wouldn't mind? Just say like your name, age, where you're from originally maybe, and what brought you out to Vegas.
Sure. My name is Antonucci. Are you hearing me okay? Because I'm cutting up a little bit weird.
You're hearing me fine. I hear you fine.
Okay, cool. My name is Vince Antonucci. I am 44. Or no, I'm not. I'm 43 years old,
okay.
Which may be a problem that I'm not sure of my age, so we just want to stop now. Uh-huh. I grew up all over the place. My father was a professional gambler / con man, and so we were constantly running from the law. And so I grew up in Florida, then New Jersey, then Florida, then New York, and kind of all over as he ran from being arrested or for people trying to kill him.
Did you know? Did you have any idea, Vince?
Yeah, we would have bricks thrown through our window in the middle of the night with death threats on him. He never drove. My mother always had to drive because if he got pulled over, he would be sent to jail, whatever. So when we were 11, I grew up on the East Coast, but my father was almost always in Las Vegas gambling and would come back, for a week and then come back to Las Vegas for a couple weeks. When I was 11, he went to Las Vegas and never came back. And so we I'd see him every once in a while after that. Yeah. But we moved to upstate New York, kind of near Buffalo, and lived there until through college and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Currently, I am a pastor of a church in Las Vegas. We are a church that's just off the south end of the Strip. It's a little bit, and one of the few churches that are on or around the Strip in Las Vegas. Most of the churches are out in the suburbs. And we started our church 3 years ago. We say we're a church for people who don't like church. Right. Before this, I started a church in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Was there for about 12 years. The church there was really successful and grew and did really cool things, but kind of felt like I was supposed to come out here and do it one more time in Las Vegas, which is kind of cool with my father's whole story. He ruined his life and my childhood and his marriage here in Las Vegas. And so it's kind of a cool thing, kind of poetic, redemptive storyline maybe, that I got to come back here and help people who are struggling here. And so we've been here for 3 years, and it's been amazing. Lots of amazing stories in the church of people who are coming you'd never find in church. We don't do church like normal churches do church. It's kind of like if you took church and Saturday Night Live and the Jimmy Fallon show and put them, and maybe a little MTV, and put it into a blender and blended it all up, we would come out.
How did this come about, Vince? Because I'll just tell you, yes, I found you off Yelp yesterday, but we looked at 20 different places, and you really were the only one I contacted. You were the only one, because yours stood out. Yours was very different. I like the writing you guys had. I like the, the playfulness kind of your writing on your website. I thought that was neat. It was actually something that my fiance and I implemented in a business we did. We said, don't worry about the people that we don't care about. Let's worry about the people we care about, and those are the ones that will be cool with our flippant writing. Tell me about how tell me a little more about your church, please, I guess.
Sure, yeah. Well, so I didn't grow up going to church. My mother's Jewish. My father was a professional gambler, con man, and so you probably guess that they didn't take me to church much. Yeah. And you'd be right. I literally never went to church one single time growing up. I became a Christian at the age of 20 in college through trying to disprove the Bible. I was an evidence kind of guy. I was planning on going to law school, and I did go to law school. And so I had this kind of weird time where I decided I was going to disprove the Bible. It's a long and cool story. And ended up transferring from law school to seminary, which is not a lot of fun. And became a pastor. And so I just wanted to do church for people like me who had either never gone to church in their entire life and just couldn't deal with the wooden pews and the organs and just all the religiousness of it. Or for people who maybe grew up in that kind of church and just rejected it, walked away, and so I'm never going back. Yeah. So we say we're a church for people who don't like church, that it's still God and Jesus, but it's in a very different kind of wrapper, just a fun, rockin', quirky, creative package. And we're just real into loving people, nothing judgmental or jerky about it. Just we're really good at loving people, accepting people where they're at, and kind of walking with them.
And is it all you running the show completely? Do you have other people that help you out? Like, how does it work? What would I see if I came?
Sure, yeah. We've got a staff, so it's kind of unusual because we're a 3-year-old church of about 300 people, and typically that would be 1 or 2 pastors, but we have actually 5 full-time and 1 part-time pastor, and we all kind of raise our own money, kind of like missionaries do. When you go to China or India, typically a missionary will raise funds from their supporting churches and friends and family, and so we all raise part of our money because our offerings at our church can't cover all of our salaries and the building and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, there are about 6 of us on staff.
Okay. So I know you've probably heard it before, having a church in Sin City, whatever. It's a great TV angle for us, obviously, What's that like, being right there in what they call Sin City? I've been to Vegas 50 times, so I know there's all different parts to it. But what's it like having a church right there off the Strip as well?
Yeah. I mean, there's aspects of Sin City of Las Vegas that's like it's no different from everywhere else, but then there are aspects that are very different. The people here are incredibly cynical, and I mean, some of them to come to church and start following Jesus would mean that they'd have to change their lives, change their jobs, which is not the case for most people. It's like, okay, I'm gonna have to change the way I think about some things, but I'm not gonna have to quit my job. But there's those kind of aspects. It's exciting when we get people. So we came here, and the first person that I led to faith, or however you want to talk about it, was a pimp. And so, which is not what we expected. I didn't target a pimp. It just happened. And so his life has changed dramatically. He now is full-time doing, I guess you'd call it street ministry. He works with homeless people and stuff like that. And we have, you name it, we've got it. We have a fire-breathing evil clown from a horror show. We have a Britney Spears impersonator. We have guys from who grew up in gangs and coming to our church the first time that what they're going to isn't gang-affiliated. We have strippers, everything. And we've got, normal people that you'd find anywhere else, but we have a lot of people. And most of the people coming to our church are people who don't go to church, who haven't gone to church forever or in years, and don't like church. So there's that weird aspect as well.
And how often are you guys actually holding services, or whatever you call it? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's cool. We have services on Sunday morning at 10 to 11:30, but then we have a Monday night service because so many of the people that we're trying to reach work on weekends. And so the big work day in Las Vegas is Saturday. The big work shifts are like 4 p.m. to midnight, 6 p.m. to 2 a.m., 4 p.m. to whatever a.m. And so to ask those people, hey, get up early on Sunday morning and come to church, it's kind of silly, especially when you're trying to reach people who aren't so sure that they want to go to church.
Right.
Interestingly, almost all the churches in Las Vegas do meet only on Sunday mornings, which is like, man, do you know who these people are? You're trying to get people to come who just that doesn't work for them. So we have a Monday night service as well.
Okay. So, all right, let's get away from work for a second, Vince. Outside of the church, what do you do? I believe you're married. Is that right? If you are, tell me about the family. What do you do away from church?
Okay. Married. I've been married for 19 years, just about. I have 2 kids who are 14 and 11. Honestly, we're probably a pretty normal family. I don't know that there's that much drama or excitement.
That's fine.
We go to the gym and we watch TV and go to the movies and we do some stuff. I don't know. I mean, we do things that Christians should do that probably lots of Christians don't do. Last Saturday, this is my daughter's idea. I take no credit, but my daughter got the idea of getting a couple cases of water, putting them on ice the night before, and then going out and finding homeless people to give them to. And so we spent hours last Saturday driving around Las Vegas, giving water and granola bars to homeless people.
Nice.
So we do some things like that, but usually it's because my daughter or son are cool, not because I am. My son's about to go into high school this year. So,
and just so you know, Vince, we don't want to show the normal story of Vegas. We don't want to show what everyone thinks happens in Vegas. When you think of Vegas, you don't think of preacher with the family, at home going out giving water to homeless. So we're not looking for, I'm not expecting to be the guy that's gambling every night on the Strip,
Right.
Do you ever go into the casinos? Knowing your history, is that something you ever do? Do you ever get to the Strip? Do you ever do that stuff, even if it's for the shows or food or whatever?
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You do?
We go down there. as a family, we go down there a couple times a month. We'll see a show or go out to dinner. And we also have people in our church who are in the shows. We have a girl who's in O. We have a guy who's one of the stars of Rock of Ages. Mm-hmm. We have two guys who come who are in Jabberwockies. So we'll go down once in a while and see their shows. Sometimes they'll give us free tickets or whatever. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I have meetings in the casinos. When we first moved here, we did 300 plus meetings with casino executives, just trying to understand Las Vegas and trying to find needs that our church could meet, because one of our philosophies is you shouldn't speak into a city that you haven't served first. And so we spent our first year here just serving. And I'm down there usually once or more a week. Okay.
Now, Vince, you mentioned to me in that email yesterday that, people have approached you about reality shows before and all that. I don't know, what did they want from you? What were they looking? What was the angle, I guess, and why didn't you follow through with those ones?
Yeah, there's been, 2 or 3 or 4, like some of them have been very serious and some of them have just been kind of like inquisitive. There was one that wanted, mainly all of them wanted our church to be a reality show. Mm-hmm. And so it was like, hey, you're going to be the central character in this, but we want your church. And so we want to be there filming everything that happens. We want to film when you're in meetings with people, when you're counseling people. Mm-hmm. And that's been the thing that's led me to say no to every opportunity. Is I don't want to make, no offense to people who do reality shows, sorry, but I don't want to make our church a circus. Yeah. I don't want people to question our motives of like, so is this really a church, or are you guys just in it for the TV, whatever. I don't want people to feel uncomfortable sharing their problems. If somebody comes to me and needs to talk about something, I don't want to be like, you have to have these cameras on and America may see this. Right. And so, it's obviously, there's been attraction as far as, hey, you can make some money. Hey, you could put something good on TV, that people will see that there are cool Christian people doing cool things. There's not just the negative stereotypes we all see out there. And so that's been kind of the intrigue of doing it. But just the idea of having the church kind of get, just all of it. And so that's what led us to turn it down.
All right. Well, hey, this one, and you could talk to my executive producer boss if he is interested, which I think he might be. This is a pretty cool storyline, and you're a nice, charismatic guy, so that helps. So, if he's interested, you guys could talk about the details. There's 6 different storylines we're looking to kind of interweave together about Vegas and the different sides to Vegas. Although, like we said, we're trying to show it in a different light, sort of. So, I love your angle, really. And you could talk to them about what kind of access you want to give to the church. And that's up for you guys to work out. We're not looking to shoot just your church for an hour every time. So we don't need that super intimate access. But I'm sure they'd want to see in action at least some of the time. So.
Sure.
But,
And I'd be okay with that. I think, seeing the church, church services is fine. And then there would be a certain people who'd be fine being on TV. And so if I'm meeting with somebody and have the option of saying, hey, do you want this to be filmed? And if they say, yeah, I don't care, then that's cool with me. But if they don't want it to be, I want to be able to say no.
Okay. And do you have anything planned for the next couple of months? Any big, church events or anything, with the family going away, anything like that?
We're going to Grand Canyon today. Like as soon as I'm done with you, we're leaving. Okay. I speak a lot around the country at different churches and conferences and stuff like that. And so I'm gone once or twice a month, every month, usually more like twice a month, sometimes 3 times. They sometimes come with me. So like this weekend, I'm speaking at a huge church in LA. Mm-hmm. They're coming with me just for fun. So we're going this weekend to LA. We go to a camp every July. That's it's a long story, but it's a minority people group camp. All these kids whose parents moved from Laos and Thailand, and so they've all grown up with parents who don't really speak English, and in kind of the inner city slums. And so my family has been going for 8 or 9 years, and we just kind of hang out with them and volunteer kind of there. And we're the only white people usually out of a couple 200 or 300 people, and there's us 4 white ones. Nice. But so we're doing that in a couple weeks. Church events, and nothing that I can think of like that's huge, but kind of, yeah. No,
that's cool. That's cool. By the way, I spent 9 months in Africa, so I know what it's like being the only white person surrounded by hundreds of black people. Yeah. It's pretty amazing when I'd walk through some of these towns in like Uganda, which are there's no white people. It was incredible to feel the other side, feel all eyes on you, sort of thing. Flip it around, but whatever.
Right.
Whole different story. Cool. All right, Vince. Hey, listen.
Our church is doing work in Ecuador. We have a mission trip going to Ecuador. We built a building there, and the building Monday through Saturday has programs, like an educational program for kids in the town who are getting horrible education, and food for the kids. And then on Sundays, there's a church that meets in that building. So we kind of got all those things started together, which is cool. And so we're doing that. We have a mission trip going there in about a month or two. So.
All right, great. Hey, Vince, just a couple things I need. What's your best phone number to reach you at?
702
Yeah.
266
Yeah.
7706.
And best email?
Vince.Antonucci@gmail.
Okay. All right. So I don't want to keep you guys any longer. Let you go to the Grand Canyon. You guys go have fun. I'm going to send this to my boss. Friday's my last day finding people for him, finding possibilities. So by Friday, he should have everybody and make some decisions. If not Friday, by Monday, who he's interested in. He'll then contact you and say, here's what we're going to want to do. And if you're into it, you're into it. And if you're not,
awesome, man. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Vince. Best of luck. Keep doing your thing, man.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Thanks. Bye.